Let's get this going. Okay, welcome back, everybody, to Aligning with Success. I believe this is week 20, and we're going to go into part three of a series that Dave has been leading us. Dave Rolfe, my colleague and co host, has been leading us through, which is a real lesson in business acumen, learning how to assess where you are in your business or what strategically needs to happen in your business in order for you to continue to grow, turn any down into an up and any horizontal into a growth, etc. So we've been learning a bunch of stuff with this process. And we are in fact going to be calling this call a bit earlier tonight because it is Victoria Day in Canada for the Canucks on the call. I also want to give a heads up to Nikken for their 50th celebration announcements. I hope you got the message. You're going to see a reflection of that in the presentations. I'm getting the downloads already, and I'm going to be revising our PowerPoint presentations in a more simplified, symmetrical way with Nikken's marketing. I really like the direction of the conversation. I like the direction of how we're presenting Nikken. I especially like being able to say, I'm in the business of creating an organization of people who want to feel good every day. You know anybody who wants to feel good every day? It's a simple approach. It's a simple way to get someone's attention. And from that, it's a door opener into the conversation of those five principles of well-being. And so, yeah, I'm with the program. I like it. I want to congratulate all the winners who are in San Francisco, enjoying a lot of them, having a great time.
I got a beef about this. I live in San Francisco and
And you didn't
nobody
get the
came to
invite.
say hello. I
Yeah,
mean, come on.
I know the feeling, Dave. I've been sitting there looking at those photos and those videos and saying, why am I not there? Why am I not there?
Yeah, but I am there.
Anyways,
I live there.
those trees, man, those trees
Yeah.
in San Francisco. Oh, God, I was there. I was taken there once and they are majestic. Wow, unbelievable. What a gift. Okay, so let's get on with it. Dave, you take on the next part.
Okay, great. Thanks for being here, everybody. And let's get into the third edition here. This is basically the final edition of this. It's going to be brief because we're going to talk about top and bottom. So so far we found that the normal range for non-existence, danger, emergency, normal, affluence. And when you put it against a chart, which you have in the videos that we've done so far, the chart really shows the picture. When it's going flat line and it's not moving up and it's an emergency. Something needs to happen. And of course, then you've got these nice little instructions of what to do to make it happen and so on and so forth. When it falls off and it goes in a downward direction, well, in business, that's dangerous. I mean, you want it to go up. And if it's going up, it's normal. If it's going down, it's danger. And then, of course, it's the steeper the climb up, then it creates the affluent or the eventual power, which is what we're going to talk about tonight, which is power and power change. And all of these conditions are very evident in society, in life. And you can turn on the TV and you can hear businesses and you look at the stock market and you can tell where the stock market is and all of these kind of things. On the other side, on the downside, below non-existence, there are other conditions. Now, these we're not going to do too much with these because I don't want to confuse the issue, but they are what they are. So liability. So one could be part of a group, but could be a liability to the group because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So instead of creating for the group, they're actually taking away from the group. Instead of producing for the group, they're actually not producing and not contributing. So as a group endeavor, this is more what it is. But you're to yourself, you could be a liability and you could be spending more than you're making. You could be, out gambling somewhere. You could be out not working. You could be doing things that you should be doing, and that's of course where that is. And then below that's doubt, which is basically, well, should I or shouldn't I? And if you're in a position of doubt, that's like being in a position of maybe. It just doesn't go anywhere. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Well, if you're in doubt, should I or shouldn't, you're not producing and you kind of get stuck. So you're really not contributing to yourself or to your family, and it's a hairy place to be. Then below that's enemy. And of course, enemy is one of those positions where you're actually destructive to yourself and your group. Below that's treason. And then finally, the bottom line is confusion. You just don't know what to do. And so we can see in society, there's a number of people that are in confusion. They're at the very bottom. They're on the street. They don't have a job. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to turn. It's a really tenuous part of society. But anyway, those are the lower conditions. But let's look at the upside again because we really want to keep this on a positive note. And most everybody's going to be either, a non-existence up and into power. And then I'm going to show you a chart. So, on the upside, we have affluence, and after that condition is a condition of power. Now, really, what power is, and it's this kind of a graph. It's going, here we go. We started out, we climbed, and we got into the affluence, then we got into the power. And up here
Dave,
we
we're
have
not
a
seeing
whole,
that. We're not seeing your chart. Do you want to share your screen again?
oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. I thought that was an automatic. Thanks, Michael. So here is the picture of power. And this is actually my income graph, which was starting when I first started and up until I think it was 2000 was the last dot on this. And I got to this position where it just went through affluence. And then what power is a whole new range of normal. So I went from nothing, and now I'm shooting at $1 million a year plus an income, and that $1 million a year in income was a plus. That was normal. It was just we were floating along, everything was going fine. So it wasn't a strange condition. So really, you apply the normal condition, but the condition for power is simply this. You don't disconnect. This is one of these things. I made this mistake. I've seen other people make this mistake. They get into this power position. They think, oh, I'm the holy roller. I'm the best thing since sliced toast, and then they go off and they do other things and they totally abandon their group. Well, I have to say it happened in Nikan a lot, where a lot of people got to the top and then they walked off and did other things, including the owner. And but anyway, this is the when you break that formula, things go down the other way, and it's a huge mistake. So one of the things that I did was I wrote my first book there, and I wrote it at that point where I wrote everything I did. I wrote how it worked, what I did, what created the success, all of those kind of things, so that I could then pass that on to other people. Now, this was 1990, was 99, 2000. So it's now 2025. So that was 25 years ago. And so that hat write-up that I did, that book, now kept that thing going for me, so that other people could follow and do what they did and touch wood. It's been a great
Dave,
thing.
let me
Now,
just jump in here because Nikan has announced its goal for 2030 to 10x the volume of the company, which means obviously that curve that we're looking at is what we're about to do. This is
yep.
the intention. So this is quite relevant, guys, for what's ahead of us here, what is expected. And so pay close attention because you want to replicate these results.
Yeah, and again, what all I did was I followed the formula. So I started off in non-existence, and in non-existence, the first thing, if we go back to that formula, is you got to find people to talk to. So not only did I have to find people to talk to, I had to learn what to say to those people, and I had to make myself known, and I had to develop my story, and then I had to find out what they needed and wanted, and then my job was to present that solution based on what I was doing. So what I quickly came to realize that I needed to make money, so therefore I needed to talk to people that needed to make money. My story was building this empire, building this business, and creating a giant empire and making a ton of money. And that story was then if the person that I was talking to they were on the same page, then bingo bango, it was easy. It was easy to talk. It was easy to collaborate. It was easy to, think about the future, plan, strategize, et cetera, et cetera. And then the key to the implementation was understanding how it works. And that's where we talked about a couple of weeks ago about, your admin scale where you have your goal, your purpose, the policy that you're going to operate, your plan, your program, your projects, your orders, the big picture, what does it look like, the statistics you're going to utilize and your valuable final product. So that when you're sharing that with somebody else, you're going to sound like a rocket science, but plain English. You're going to sound like you know what you're talking about. You're going to sound like you can lead other people. And the biggest thing for me, myself and people that I've run into with regard to this is when you have a problem and you're looking for the solution, you don't want wishy-washy. You want something that really bang, oh yeah, that indicates bang, oh I can see how that would work. Oh yeah, I could get behind that because you're giving them real circumstance. So we're going to build a team. Not, well, you join to become a distributor and sell some products and you're going to get rich. No, 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 no. You're going to get involved. You're going to get educated. You're going to get trained. We're going to work together. It's going to be like the apprentice and the mentor. I'm going to mentor you. I'm going to apprentice you. I'm going to teach you everything I can. That's what I did. Now and so on and so forth. So I went into normal, and then after normal, I went into affluence, and I just kept applying the condition. So in normal, don't change anything. So whatever I was doing got me there, and I improved what I could improve, and whatever didn't work, I kicked out, and then I finally got into affluence, and then I got into affluence, and then I economized and with time, with money, and all those kind of things, and then I got into power. And I wrote up my hat, and I wrote the book, and I turned it over to as many people as I possibly could, and that carried me for the next 25. It's still carrying me, and in many other ways because I got into many other businesses, and the lifestyle is great as a result of that. But here's what's important. I directed that traffic from zero. I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth. I never got through college. I never finished it. I failed grade 12. I got some report cards from school. The report cards sent home to my parents. Why is he in school? All he does is look out the window. And so it was growing up, education was tough, but this was important. And I learned what to do and I applied what it was. And we are really in a do business. So these little formulas, are really important. And again, all results come about by doing something. Well, the results also come about by not doing things, but there's zero results. So if you want positive results that are up, and where you want, so you have to relate it to a do. And here's the important thing. You have to understand what you can do based on who you are, based on the deck you were given, based on the baggage you carry around, based on how you act in life and treat other people. And so you can fight your way up this really easily. It's not a hard deal. And of course, what we've got with Niken is we've got the vehicle that is so misunderstood. And that when I say misunderstood, network marketing is not understood by the general public. If you go on Smart Networker or if you go to some of the podcasts that I've been guests on, they're great podcasts to teach other people what the heck network marketing is because it's one of those fields that if you understand what it is, it's the neatest thing since sliced toast. Because I mean, you don't have to spend a fortune to get there. All you have to do is learn what to say, and then all you have to do is help other people do the same thing. And if you do it correctly, and if you understand how it works, then it becomes simple Simon. And of course, you follow the formulas, they take you up the top of the ladder. Anyway, that's all we're going to do on that. I have some other topics that we'll bring up. I'm going to be away for a month or so. I'm going on another trip. But after that, Michael and I will coordinate. We'll set up another deal. I want to talk about organization and how that fits into what you do. And by the term organization, what we're talking about is you yourself have 21 departments in your business as you. and they all have different functions, and they all have valuable final products. And if you miss one, then to that degree, your organization, in your business, the Dave Rolfe business or the Mike DiMuccio business or the Madeline Zworsky business, whatever, those functions, if they're not done, are going to hamper your ability. So if you know and understand what they are, then you can put some attention on it and make it grow. So hope this all helps. Again, you've got the videos. Mike's got them. They're in the Royal Alliance Library, and they'll be very helpful. And one of these days, I'll put together a PowerPoint with all this stuff on it.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. We
Yeah.
definitely want that document of the KPIs. That we definitely want because we want to be able to track. And I don't recall, Dave, if you've published it as a separate document or if it's part of the
I
document,
have
but
over time, Michael, but I can put it together again and I can forward it to you for sure.
thank you. Perfect. Excellent. Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Anybody have a question for Dave? Okay. Well, listen, guys, thank you, Dave. As you know, nothing of this information matters unless it's applied, and it's usually when you're in the pickle of something that you need to rely on something. So this information is going to be quite useful for you if number one, you start measuring things. If you start actually keeping score of what you're actually doing, then you're going to be able to use this information to apply the technology, if you will, to move things along. I want to break this down into something even more fundamental for you here. So, when Dave's talking about network marketing, it's so misunderstood. I had some people here at my house on Saturday for the event on Saturday, and we had lunch together and discussion about things. And one of the things that came up about network marketing, the concept of how to present network marketing, how to even communicate it to somebody that you're looking to enroll, and to help them get a picture in their mind as to what it is that we're doing, why it's so valuable. It's about um, people working together to create an outcome. Right now in the world, most people are on their own. They're the ones who have to rely, they've got nothing supporting them. It's them and them alone. And when you're building a network marketing business, when you're building a team, it's about the team. It's not about the individual. Each individual contributes to the team, but it's about the team. And what kept coming up was the idea, the notion that this is a vehicle that allows us to create a campaign to work together where if we can grab a handful of people who want to who want to grow something, who want to create something, this is where we all work together to help each other. It's a help each other scenario. It's not a Lone Ranger scenario. And what came to mind was in a rising tide, all boats float higher. So it's about creating a rising tide where everybody wins. That's what network marketing is. It's about creating a rising tide where everybody wins. If you want to look at it when you're communicating to somebody, why launch why launch the network marketing division of your business? Because in that environment, you create a rising tide where everybody wins. And I also want to come back to this feel good every day because I think it's a simple concept to deliver. Five pillars of health, life in balance, those kind of, they relate to that, but it's not as immediate and impactful as feel good every day. And just being able to ask somebody, what would it take for you to feel good every day? Think about that question alone. What would it take for you to feel good every day? If you ask somebody that question, I'm building a team of people who want to feel good every day. I'm building an organization of people. I'm bringing together like minds of people who want to feel good every day. I mean, that tells you what you're doing. And it's the kind of thing that is going to get anybody's attention. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean feel good every day? Well, what would it take for you to feel good every day? Put it on them to now they're going to help you identify where the area of need might be. And, well, if I didn't have this, that, whatever, whatever. Say, well, let me give you an example of what it's like to feel good every day. Now, here's one of the things that came up in the conversation on Saturday. I thought, okay, this is kind of old school, but it's actually really good. What if you put a power band on somebody's neck, a pair of insoles in their shoes, and said, I got you covered head to toe. I'm going to leave you with these for the next 2 or 3 days. I'll follow up and see if you feel better. And it could be just that simple. Now, as a business model, that's kind of interesting because It's easy to carry a necklace. It's easy to carry a pair of insoles. As a business model, you might have a few of these items on, especially if it's your business model, to have a number of these products on hand because you're going to prospect a number of people over the next, month or so. And you got these people walking around with magnetic insoles and a necklace on. What do you think is going to happen? You could ask them some questions like, you're feeling tired the way you normally do. Maybe you even ask some what we call benchmark questions beforehand. You might ask some questions like, okay, well, let's check this out on a scale of 1 to 10. What do you say your energy level is? What's your, 4 o'clock in the afternoon? When's your first cup of coffee? And jot it down. When's your third cup of coffee? Like, when do you need that extra boost? Jot it down. Now, when you come back to that person after 2 or 3 days and they've been wearing the necklace and insoles, you know it's going to happen. They're going to feel different. And especially if you're able to refer to the questions. Hey, what time was that third cup of coffee? On a scale of 1 to 10, what kind of energy are you feeling? When you have a reference point, without mentioning it, ask the question the second time. Now there's a reference point. There's a notable change in their energy and well-being. Now, if you like what you saw, let me tell you this. That's the tip of the iceberg of what we got. It's just the tip of the iceberg. I love using one product to create change and then say, that's just the tip of the iceberg. That was just to get your attention. Now, what if you did that one a day for the next 10 days? Look for somebody who wants to feel better every day. Thanks, Abe. Think about that. It's a simpler process, isn't it? It's an easy way to go about contacting and inviting people that you're meeting along the way. Or it could be a direct contact, somebody you're calling and saying, "Hey, I'm putting together a movement of people who are serious about feeling good every day. Do you want to feel good every day?" Who's going to say no to that? And if they say, "Yeah," well, what would it take for you to feel good every day? As the follow-up question. And then really dig into it. Find out what is it, you're going to find out something about them. You're going to find out where there's a sore spot. They're going to tell you, well, if my knee didn't bother me every day, that would be helpful. Okay, so if your knee didn't bother you every day, you'd feel good, better every day, right? So it's an easy way to actually have a conversation because it is conversational. But more to the point, it points to an end in mind that's highly desired. Everybody wants to feel good. And if they could feel good every day, now you really got something. Making sense here? And now when you point them to your web page and they go to the web page and says feel good every day, it's not going to be it's not two different conversations. It's the same conversation, just continuing, where you can help them better identify where their needs are, and it points them in the direction through the questionnaire. You see how this is all coming together? 6 months ago, we didn't have this, guys. 6 months ago, we didn't have this. And Dave talked about story, my story, your story. It's all about a story. Everything in marketing is about telling a story. All marketing and sales is about storytelling. Look at every commercial everything you see in terms of marketing and advertising, whether it's social media, television, whatever, you're going to see they're telling a story. In the first few seconds, they're going to point to a problem. Then they're going to tell you how this problem affects people. And then they're going to show you that they're going to give you hope that there's a better way, a way out. And then they're going to show you lifestyle shots of people having a great time and enjoying themselves and so on and so forth. They don't fill in much blanks. They don't tell you what things are. They just say, ask your doctor or, whatever. And do you remember when the first Ozempic commercials were coming out? Everyone's like, what the hell is Ozempic? They don't even tell you what it is, but they got you asking the question. That was on purpose. So the point is, it's storytelling. It's creating curiosity and storytelling. And I think we got a great story because when you look at the 5 principles, which we refer to as the 5 pillars, but in today's language, it's 5 principles, you're going to see that reflected. The Balanced Life, Happy Life presentation is going to quickly become a different presentation. Hopefully within a week's time, I'll have something on the table. But that's going to be a little bit more simplified and more to the point. It's about feeling good every day. And Doesn't that just resonate? Doesn't that just resonate? I mean, if I say to you, life and balance, have a balanced life, that's a little bit more, I don't know, it's kind of up there in the clouds. But I say, hey, want to feel good every day? That's like right here, right now. It hits you right in the solar plexus. It's like, wow. And I'm telling you guys, Nikon's going to go and 10x. Why? Because we are dialing in on a new way of sharing Nikan. We're dialing in on something that really hits home. Without saying much, you hit home right on that first question. And that's the kind of marketing sophistication and simplicity needed in order to go viral. So we are on the cusp of, on the verge of going viral. And I can't wait to be flipping on my phone at 2 o'clock in the morning, which I know most of you do, and I do too. And I see your face. I see you saying, hey, wouldn't it be great to feel good every day? I'll tell you what, I found how to feel good every day. And I'm looking for other people who want to feel good every day. I want to hear that coming out of your mouth. I want to see your face saying that because there's not a single person who can't relate to that. And you're going to attract attention. And that's what this new story, this new theme is all about. Right? Y'all with me on this?
Yes.
Okay. So I want you to make notes because I think what we need to do is get into some action on this. I want to get some feedback from you in terms of applying it, the application. So that's your homework for this week. This week's homework is to take these concepts and put them to work and just make notes. What hits, what's not hitting, what works, what's not working, see when somebody's eyes brighten up or their body posture changes, whatever. It's the art of language and communication. And the more effective we are at communicating what we have in more relatable terms, then we're going to attract more people. So my commitment is to really work on the PowerPoint presentation that gives you a sense of a more powerful feeling and the feeling of feeling good. We want to get to that directive immediately. When we bring somebody to one of these calls, to one of these Zooms, we want them to feel the impact of that. We want them to feel like, okay, this person's talking to me right away. This person's talking to me. And if we'll know, we will know if we dialed in on the right frequency, guys, because we're going to see the numbers start to increase on those calls. Automatically, it's going to start to happen because you're going to feel comfortable inviting somebody to that conversation. And by the way, if you don't have a necklace, a power band, get one. If you don't have insoles, get some because Nikan launched $1 billion company with one product, the magnetic insoles. They did 0 to 1 billion in 3 years, my friends. 0 to 1 billion in 3 years with one product. We have too many products. Creates too much to think about, too much to talk about. So start the conversation, focus in on something, make that your duplicatable conversation starter. Pick something and make it the thing that you create a frenzy around, a viral infection around. They're going to learn about Nikan. So this is another thing that came from our meeting. We were talking and how to attract and blah, 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 blah. And something came to me all of a sudden. What if everything was just an invitation? Every interaction, every Zoom meeting, everything that we have on the table is just an invitation. It's just an opportunity for somebody to learn more. It's just an opportunity for somebody to hear more stories. It's just an opportunity for somebody to see more faces. It's just an invitation. Hey, maybe you might want to come. Hey, learn about this. Hey, it's just an invitation. If every single connection point is just an invitation, we're just inviting people to a new connection point, then there's no closing tactics. then there's no, the process is really simple. It's whenever they're ready to buy. It's whenever they're ready to take action. Until then, it's just an invitation to learn more, to be participating more. It's an invitation, invitation, invitation. That way, all you're ever doing is inviting people to become more, get closer to the fire. And you know what happens. You know what happens when they start looking into this. They start seeing what it is. They start feeling what it is. They start taking action. I don't have to convince people to buy. I just have to get them to look. So it's all about inviting. Wes.
Well, you're really onto something, and it's really the truth of it all. Because one of the things that I've learned is when I talk to people, they're looking for validation or confirmation of the things that I'm telling them, and the first thing they want to do is go to the website. It's like it's the new A of the ABC. It's the first thing they go to. The problem is that the message is different. And I really believe that when we first got the PWP, I think that's where a lot of our problems started because it wasn't the same message. The company has become the ultimate upline.
Yeah.
They've become the A of the ABC. And they're not giving the same message that we are. Now, when I showed you a couple of weeks ago, uh,
Wes, this has been your conversation for years now. The emails that you sent to Luis and
oh,
shared with me.
listen, so I've been talking about this for a long time. I know, it took me 6 months to build a $10,000 business, and I wasn't the best at it. But it kind of stopped at one point, and I can tell you when it stopped. When the company offered a PWP. And people would go on that PWP, and the first thing they'd see is earrings are on sale. Now, what did that have to do? Now, you want to talk, you're absolutely right. We want to invite people and we want them to sign up now. But what do they sign up for? They don't sign up for Niken. They don't sign up for Waterfall. They sign up for our mission. And it's not just the company and the consultants. They see the consultants as a network of salespeople, but we're not. We're the marketing arm, and the company's usurping our marketing message. And the marketing message, I know when I got started with the company, it started with health and wellness, a team of people, and a mission. That's what it started with. And then it was about the products, and then it was about the company, and then it was the company's story. But it was in that order. And when you change the order of things, it doesn't work. The company doesn't understand that we're network marketers, not network salespeople. And the company is our A of the ABC, and it's sending the wrong message. And so I've been losing people. I just went through all the people that I've talked with, around 1,000, and most of them I lost when we had a PWP. So I'd like
So,
much for them to change that landing page to be like the page that I showed you a couple of weeks ago. And that's my message. And I've been trying so hard to find a nice way to present that to Louise.
Wes, you and I need to talk a little bit more because I'm working on the PowerPoint. I'm going to work on this PowerPoint, and it needs to have that again, that reiterated through the story of the PowerPoint. It has to be consistent. We want to create that flow and make it really so obvious that who would not want to be part of this. I mean, already we're starting with the right language about feeling good. Because at the end of the day, that's what everybody wants. Nobody wants a waterfall. Nobody wants to buy magnets. Not if they're sane. What they want is to feel good. And then it comes in different ways. But Niken has a solution to that. It's a starting point, and it can lead them into the most wonderful part of the feeling good is being part of a community of people who feel good and are blessed.
The company is really part of the community. It's not
Yeah.
the company and us. It's us. We're one. We're all on the
Correct.
same mission. And
Correct.
we invite people to the mission.
Yeah.
And the company is there to play its role in the mission, and we're playing our role in the mission, and we're inviting people to join the mission.
Wonderful. Yeah, guys, what is the mission? Help people feel good every day.
Absolutely.
It's not something you have to wait in the future for. It's now. It's a choice. Show them that they have options. Then they can get more and more involved as they become more and more enamored with this, as they learn more about it, because we keep inviting them to experience different aspects of NECANN through our Zoom meetings, through our product experiences, etc. These are all ways that we can help people connect.
If we can get the landing page right, this will be easy.
Yeah, it's there. It's getting there. See it. I'll help you do it.
All right.
Okay, everybody. I think we can end on that note because it's a good one. So you got some homework this week, guys. Really, please, let's challenge each other to get that experience. If we come back next week with some personal stories about what happened this week as you tweaked your message and see how people are responding to it, I think we might all get pretty darn excited about this. And we, like you said, Wes, we may be onto something here. Mrs. Kramer, we'll end on your note.
Yes, just create a feel-good pandemic.
About a feel-good story for tomorrow night's Better Way. Is this going to be the last time of using that PowerPoint?
I don't know, and it depends on how fast I can turn this thing around. And but I'm gonna work on it.
Somebody would like to volunteer. Yeah, if you would, Michelle or I know, that would be nice.
Okay, everybody. Thanks for being on, and make it a great week, guys. Feel great.
All right.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye. Thank you.